That boy's a dog. Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown. I got my guy, Boomer Sooner, in the building, Jared Gray. This is Devy Darlings. How we doing, my guy?
Man, I'm good. Horns down for life. Been waiting on this one. Obviously, like no matter what would happen, if D now was back and doing his thing, I was gonna boot him for this one. So this
I
one's a
think
must.
I think you might have gave this one up for you. You know
He
what I
would.
mean?
I think he'd have let me on. He'd let me on it. So
But rumor has it we we might be getting a guy back sooner than you think. So shout out D now. We miss you. It'll be nice to have you back, my guy. But this one is all Oklahoma talk. And yes, if you haven't figured it out yet, if you're listening at home and you're not, not on the YouTube or on formerly known as X. I mean, what's formerly known as Twitter is X now. This is Jackson Arnold. Okay, Devy Darlings. Is he the next Devy Darlings? Is he the next great Sooner QB? 6'1", 216 pounds, 5-star recruit. QB4 in the 2023 class. I know Boomer's got something to say about that. We'll get there in a minute. 8th overall in the class, right? Guy at high school out of Denton, Texas. He was a two-sport athlete, baseball and football. 2022, 2023 Gatorade Texas Football Player of the Year. He was the 2022 Landry Award winner, 2022 Under Armour All-American, 2022 Elite 11's Finals MVP. He was also the 2021 Texas District 5-6A co-MVP, and he was a Texas Young Men's Service League participant. Boomer, before we get into it all, talk to me about your guy and his ranking. I know that one hurts you a little bit. We've had this battle.
So we missed one thing, right? You did say the Gatorade Player of the Year, but you said Texas.
Yes.
He's the Gatorade National Player of the Year, which I don't know what to tell y'all, but that's the best player in the country. That's the high school Heisman here. So that's first. Listen, we called him number 4. We talked about this. You don't make him the Gatorade National Player of the Year unless he's the number 1 quarterback. And I think Nico is going to rival every bit of that this year, right? He's your guy. This is my guy. But we've stood on this ground. It's been 1-2. We flipped back and forth. I think that he should be the number 1, and I'm glad that he finally got his shine. But you ain't pushing a guy that's throwing Heisman numbers up, and it was cool. They let him ride out the sunset, and now he's on to Oregon to play with your Ducks. I know you're excited for Gabriel on that side, but Arnold's the next coming. I really believe that. I've stood on this ground for 2 years. So
yeah. Before we get into all the nice, beautiful stats and details and stuff we're going to talk about, I'm with you because Dylan Gabriel left Oklahoma faster than you could possibly go, right? Like he knew Arnold was the dude. He was the next coming, and I don't hate on Gabriel for doing it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to play that sucker role either. Like I've been saying for years now, KT and you, Gabriel got to put his big boy pants. Just because he's in Eugene, I'm not giving him a pass. You still got to put the big boy pants on. Like I need you to stay healthy. I need you to not be a little. Oh, this hurts a little bit. I want you to go out there and play and ball out, but put pants on. All right, strap them up and let's get it done.
Hey, I'll tell you what, real quick, while we're on him, he's going to be a great Senior Bowl lad next year.
Oh, facts, bro. He's probably gonna. I got him as a Davy O'Brien finalist. Like he has in that system 100%. With those 2 receivers. Don't get me going. We're not talking Oregon. Well, let's flow back to your guy. All right, let's talk.
You instead of UO. I'm just saying.
I know. Listen, at Gaia, right? Now he backed up Eli Stowers for 1 year, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and then he was a starter. Now I don't even know if this is like made up numbers, okay? Because it's like almost 8,000 yards in the 2 years that he started. Just passing, just passing alone, right? Like his junior year, he had almost 4,000. It was 3,921 yards, 34 touchdowns, 5 picks. He had 659 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. Those numbers are just great, unbelievable. Now, let me tell you about his senior season. Almost 69% completion, right? 3,300 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, only 3 picks. He added another 23 touchdowns on the ground, 855 yards. The dude ran the ball 153 times. He was the offense. He was everything. He counted for 91%, I think, of the points scored offensively. Like that's just, it's crazy. Boom. Talk to me here.
Listen, so he's going to be the next great Raider quarterback just because silver and black looks really good on him.
That was high school, Carlos. Yeah, I know.
I'm just telling you, like they look good on him. But at least like dual threat quarterback. You know, we're going to get to the games on him in a second, but a lot of Oklahoma players will remember Blake Bell, right? And this dude wearing number 10, running freaking linebackers over, stuff like that. You know, I think that they really thought he's going to be a little more elusive. And we saw that in the spring game where he takes off for like a 60-yard touchdown last year. And they're like, okay, Kyler, like you need to come back over here. Like we need to, I really feel, even though Arizona saw, you know, him pass the ball and very depleted offensive line, you know, there's a lot of players that still played. You know, shout out to Tyway Walker, who played in that bowl game knowing he was transferring to Wisconsin, which is absolutely crazy. You know, props to that kid. I think that's absolutely amazing. But the arm talent's there, the rushing talent's there. You know, you're putting Tim Tebow, you know, touchdown numbers up. You're putting, you know, ridiculous quarterback stats up. Denton is not a small school. They don't play, you know, small rinky-dink teams. Yes, it is a program, and you're going to get their best every week. You know, everybody's going to come for you, and you know, to see somebody with this type of caliber, and he just kept on getting better and better and better. And you know, Levy, phenomenal job by Levy in that late charge to grab this quarterback, especially when everybody thought he might go with Levy. You know what I mean? That's his guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think nothing is Jeff Levy. The new offensive system with the coach that is there, former OU alumni, North Texas head coach, that guy made, you know, a few guys look like absolute ballers at North Texas. We had this one kid that went down there from Oklahoma, little bitty dude. He's like 5'8", you know, 180 pounds, and throwing for 3,500 yards like it's nothing. Imagine what he's going to do at Oklahoma with that type of offense. I mean, I cannot wait for this one. Except, you know, Latrell's not going to mess around with this dude.
Well, I mean, just last year, right? No, at North Texas, Chandler Rogers went off, right?
Yep.
Balled out. You know, I mean, now he transferred over to Cal, but I mean, he had a year. He was you know, through the air, on the ground. It was his best year statistically. So, you mentioned Kyler, and we're talking Texas, and I got to bring it up because in my eyes, Kyler will go down as the best Texas quarterback.
Greatest high school football player of all time, by the way.
Okay,
I know not Texas. Greatest high school football player ever.
Ever.
I listen. It is what it is. I mean, the dude's undefeated, 4 state championship. What do you want? Like, who gonna beat him? I'm sorry. I'm
79 touchdowns combined in one season, right? That's what it is. 79. Yeah, that's dumb.
That's dumb.
That's dumb. That's dumb. That's just dumb numbers. But yeah,
I mean,
where would you rank Arnold in the Texas class? Of course,
in the Texas. Listen, there's some dudes. I mean, there's some absolute dudes. Texas huge, phenomenal quarterbacks. Just in quarterbacks to be ranked in top 50 quarterbacks in Texas, you're somebody. But how many of those quarterbacks were Gatorade National Player of the Year? Right. So without even looking at, and I will get in on this. I promise you, we will do this eventually, and I will do an entire show on where, you know, Jackson Arnold lands as high school quarterbacks. I will tell you this: I have him in my top 10 of Texas high school quarterbacks, and that's saying something because then there's some dudes.
Oh yeah, RG3's out there. You got some guys, right? I mean,
that list is long. Baker. Yeah. I mean, Johnny. I mean, Johnny football's. I mean, that list is crazy.
Back. Like you can go farther
back. Luck. That list is crazy, dude. I mean, crazy.
The kid ran for 3 games of 100 yards on the ground, right? And like I said, that season he had 56 total touchdowns. Like that's just Video game numbers. Video.
With, again, throwing over almost 3,400 yards at 68%.
Yeah.
Like you said, it at almost 70%. I mean, 68.9%. Let's call 59%. Let's just call it there. I mean, those are numbers, bro. I mean, especially when you're running for 855 yards and 23 touchdowns. Yeah. When you're doing that, what's the safety going to do?
Nothing.
Sit in the box, drop back. Like, I mean, that's what makes him so dangerous. I mean, and that's going to be interesting because rumor has it, those three interceptions obviously upset him. Dason came straight over to him after the game. Like, listen, Stutzman's like, listen, man, this ain't you. We know who you are. Put your head up and call it good. And that dude has been in the weight room, on the practice field, in the books. He's getting it. I mean, it's like you just said, all he's been doing is eating since that game. He is not laid off, and that's all I'm hearing from his teammates, and they love him. Listen, everybody loved Dylan, but everybody's been waiting for Jackson since the day he stepped on campus. Mm-hmm. Stutzman, that's his guy. I mean, and that's saying something because Stutzman, Danny was there with Dylan both years. Yeah. So your Jackson's his guy.
Your boy Walker came back. Yeah, because that's his guy. Arnold and him were like homies, bro. Like,
that's so impressive. And here's how I truly believe this. And I'm speaking to every single player in college football. If you want an example of a leader, me wanting to look at you as a player when it comes time to draft you, this dude did not let his guys down. He practiced every single game. Mm-hmm. He was in the transfer portal. He played the bowl game, and the day after the bowl game, transfers to Wisconsin. He already had been committed. They knew he was coming, whatever, right? I mean, they had an idea. I mean, but so much props to him.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I'm not going to let these players down. I'm not going to let my family down. I was very impressed with that. Extremely impressed.
Now, you can't give them enough respect. Like, any kids that played in games that were in the portal and just did it for the school, check that one on the box for them. But you mentioned earlier Lebby. Like, Lebby was relentless in the pursuit, and I say this because he had 25 offers. And as I did, Devy deep dived into this, Bill O'Brien, he was on the horn, right? He was on the horn. Kendall Briles, he was like, these guys were grinding away.
Listen, nothing against Bill O'Brien, but he ruined Christian Hackenberg, and that dude was a dude in high school. He ruined it. I'm sorry. He went to Penn State, ruined that kid. That we're talking. He everybody thought he was going to be the next great, quarterback. He had a great Elite 11. He looked phenomenal in high school. He had a phenomenal arm talent, and then kapush. Because I'm sorry, I ain't trusted Bill O'Brien offense ever.
And we're getting off track here, but all I want to say is at Penn State he gets a pass because he came into the worst situation in the history of college football.
I agree with that.
And fixed it, so he gets a pass. But like I said, 25 offers. O'Brien, Lebby, right? Briles, even Tommy Reese. These guys were digging after him, and phone never stopped. It was just constantly blowing up. They're constantly making visits. But in the end, he chose Oklahoma. Now, last year at Oklahoma, 7 games, he was 44 for 69, right? Close to 64%. He had 563 yards, 4 touchdowns. So we already mentioned the 3 interceptions. 31 attempts on the ground, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Now, outside of the interception, this is where I love everything I've seen in him, right? And what I've seen in the spring game, what I've seen in him at the Geyer. But he only had 4 big-time throws in the 7 games, right? And a lot of it was in garbage time outside of the bowl game. But he had 5 turnover-worthy plays. And I add in that little nervousness I have and the fact that my boy don't slide worth a damn. He think he a linebacker out there, right? I get it. He's got the size and all. But we want longevity, right? If we want this kid to be the generational talent that we see, gotta get down a little bit, man. Like we gotta protect ourselves, right? He was sacked only 3 times. I say only 3 times, but in 7 games, he was sacked 3 times. At that pace, it's not the best pace. You know what I mean? And he did his average depth of target was in the double digits, so he was pushing the ball downfield in the time that he was there, which I do like to see because a lot of the time you would see like a lot of dunk and dink passes out of these kids coming in, getting their feet wet. I felt like the Arkansas State game was the game where he really was just dunk and dink. I'm gonna solidify it, but that was like what, week 1, right?
Yeah,
Dunk
week
and
1.
dink. I'm gonna get myself acclimated, go over the top a couple times. Now I feel good. And then after that, the rest of the season when he was in, there was no more. I'm just gonna dunk and dink. If he wanted to chuck it downfield, he was chucking it downfield. What are your thoughts on the season? And then we'll talk about the Arizona game before we get into like some of the attributes.
With the season, obviously, like it's all on Venables. He's changing players out. He lost 45.
Well, there he goes. He's back. He's gone.
Well,
there he is. He's
I
back.
I don't know what happened. So with
Venables gave you the weebie-jeebies, bro. You can't talk
Yeah.
about him like that.
So, he rebuilt on program, lost 45 players. Like, had a top 5 class, had a top 5 portal class. I mean, then you bring in a quarterback, his teammate, his safety, Dason McCullough, all these guys. You're really trying to gel an entire team, literally an entire team trying to gel a team in their second season. There's so many different players on that cool. You got 10 wins. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I told you I thought they would hit 10 wins. I really believe that with that class. With free agency the way it is in college football, to see what he's doing as a leader and just sit back. I would love that he just sat back and learned and learned and learned.
So
you could see just in practice, we talked about spring practice and games and highlights. You saw his release get faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the biggest thing that you really wanted to see. And he already had a quick release. And just to see it that much better. I mean, you saw it in the Under Armour game. You're like, man, he's making these 5 stars look like 2 stars. And that's what you want to see. But like you said, I need to see. I don't need to see Belldozer anymore. Okay, I don't need to see Baker. Trying to run 4 or 5 people over. Because he did that quite a bit. TCU game, Oklahoma State game. When you need it, you need it. And I understand you're going to have that.
Not every play.
Listen, watch Kyler Murray play baseball and do that. All right, give me a pop-up slide, dude. Like let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like, you're big enough. I don't want Belldozer. I want Kyler. Like, let's get back to that. Give me some sliding. The longevity of your team is going to be so much based on you. So,
yeah, the game is just crazy. He has all the talent. And, we mentioned, this year in a little bit of time, I like to compare him to guys in his class, and we talked about it's 4. And I know you that gets you bothered a little bit that where he was ranked and stuff. So, I think outside of Dante Moore, Jackson had the better numbers. Obviously, Arch didn't really play much. I think he only had 5 attempts for under 40 yards this year. But go ahead.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah. Nico played in the bowl game and had some spotty, in garbage time. He threw for like 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 100. He had 71 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. And then Dante Moore had 1,600 yards in the air, 11 touchdowns, 9 picks. Right. He also had negative 84 rushing yards. So that was just bad overall. Yeah, I wish Dante was in UCLA right now with Bieniemy and Foster there. I think it would be a totally different ball game where you would see prime Dante, because you got to remember Dante, was going to Oregon.
We talk about those 3, but Malachi is on to Boise State. He was a 5-star.
Yes. Bud leaving concerns me. Bud Hamden leaving, like, that offense is high powering when he was there. Okay. You know what I mean? And now he's moved on. So we'll have to see, but they've put a lot of pieces together. A lot. I love Prince Stratham at the wide receiver position, right? They have is it Marshall? Is that the gentleman who has had trouble? But I think he's corrected the ship now and he's come back over. I think he went to Ole Miss and a few of the schools, and he went to JUCO, and now he's come back. So they've got some pieces there. But I'm saying what's done so far Malachi didn't do anything this year at all. He sat behind Caleb, obviously. So and then it was Mims at the time because he hit the portal. So Jackson's kind of at the 2 spot right now, overall in that class, and we'll have to continue to see. But from what I see, we've kind of touched on it a little bit. True dual threat quarterback, strong, quick release, accurate. When he's dialed in, he is dialed in. He can make reads and progressions. He can make layered throws. He can throw the ball into traffic through zone coverage, right? He makes various arm deliveries. Doesn't have to always come over the top. He can do a little side arm moves. He does these crazy little things sometimes. He's physical. We talked about that. He's got a big arm, but he can put it in a bucket when necessary. And I've nicknamed him Houdini because under pressure, somehow, some way, as big as he is, he just finds a way to escape it. I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, because he's not trying to. He's not doing no juking nobody, but he just somehow is elusive enough to squirmel out of it. So I've nicknamed him Houdini at the QB position. Anything I said that you want to add to that he jump off the screen to you, or attributes you think that need to be put out there?
I think he's a better leader than people realize. I mean, he kind of sat back and laid off, and I've been saying this. I love your comp, and I'm always going to give an Oklahoma comp if I can. So I'm going to kind of push 2 players together. Was kind of wondering what I really wanted to do here. Listen, he runs a lot more like Jalen Hurts than we were talking about with Blake Bell and stuff like that. So the athletic ability, the leadership, the Jalen Hurts-esque with a Baker Mayfield accuracy. I mean, Oklahoma, should be loving this as fans. I mean, if you're going to get a player who has good leadership, is wanting to get bigger, better, faster, stronger in the playbook and on the field, I mean, what more can you ask? I mean, but I love your comps, and they're coming, and it's kind of awesome though.
And I know it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid, when you say comps like this. But if they told me you can go into the incubator and you can make your QB, it would be if John Elway and Steve Young had a child, it would be Jackson Arnold. Okay, because all the attributes, the leadership, the physical, the big arm, that nothing fears him. I will throw it through your hands and hit my receiver in stride. He does not give a shit about anything when it comes to that. He thinks that his talent will outbeat your talent any day of the week. And you can see it when he comes out there, when he takes the field. And then the mobility. Steve Young didn't know how to slide either. And there's a reason why he took a lot of big hits. Jackson doesn't want to slide. He's a little bit bigger than Steve, at a younger age, like the build that they were at the time. He's bigger than what Steve was at this time. But I think if you could merge them together, you're getting this kid right here. And I think he's the real deal. I'm still sticking by my guys. Nico was 1, and that's my flag. But they're gonna it's gonna be a very, very fun year, my friend.
Hey, the great thing is we're gonna see it. So but you want to talk about an expensive freaking game that's gonna be. We obviously have showing number 10 here, but Jackson has flipped back to his high school number 11. And I think that's a little bit of a confidence thing. One of my favorite players of all time is Drew Bledsoe, rocking the number 11. So I'm really interested to see how this year's going to go. And I'm telling you, there's going to be so many games that are going to be, obviously every home game is going to be sold out. And the SEC just got bigger, faster, stronger with, these 2 additions. And there's going to be so much smack talk. And I'm here for all of it.
Oh, bro. Well, they play Oklahoma this year, correct?
Yes.
Tennessee plays Oklahoma, right?
I believe so. And, Oklahoma's 2-0 the last 2 games. So
I'm pretty sure they play as well.
I think they play. I'm trying to figure out if they play.
Is he going to wear a chrome visor, you think? Like the mirrored visor?
No,
he's a visor guy. So
he was a visor guy. I don't think he's. The thing is he's already committed to, being in the game. You know how the players have to be in the game. He's committed in the game. So that's part of it. I gotta find this thing.
Where do you think he's going to be ranked? Where do you think his ratings going to be? Lagway's what, 85?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about like 88.
Okay. All right.
I'd be okay with that.
To see when that comes out. I'm gonna clip that and bring it back from when we do get the actual ratings. But listen, it's been a good one. I know this is your guy. I'm pumped to see him, and it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. It'll be, you got any before we close it? Any info on NAL deals that he's signed so far?
Like I said, he obviously just went with the with NCAA, took the money to be part of the game, which is huge. I know that he's obviously in the team's NIL.
Right.
The Sooner car dealership that's right there, they've offered him that same thing like they offered Spencer when he was there. So he'll have a brand new ride. He's trying to do the same thing. I forgot what was it, Utah, that the entire team got like vehicles.
Yes, all vehicles. They get all trucks.
I think he's a big perpetual of the team getting stuff and not just him. So he's really part of the Meals on Wheels, like Baker was. He's part of that with Baker, and that's pretty cool.
Cool.
I think that's more of like an OU quarterback. Like let's get you in, let's stay in. Yeah, and that's important. A really big community guy, huge community guy. So I'm telling you, Oklahoma needs to get a professional football team, and they would just absolute hand over fist money with kids like this. So,
all right, this is CFB Nation. I'm Nino Brown. That's my guy Boom and Jared Gray. This is Devy Darlings. Boom, take it away.
Hey, until next time, let's go.